Hey, how are all of you Rafter kids doing today? Something I've noticed on DH Leningrad push is that the German tankers typically have a really hard time dealing with the Russian tanks. One of the reasons is because the armor on the chassis of the Russian tanks is either sloped, or when you shoot at the turret, that's pretty much the thickest armor that you're going to encounter in the game on those KVs. The other thing that makes it really hard is that you have the Panzer IV with the heat shell that's able to take out the tank, but then you also have the Panzer III, which does nothing to any of these tanks, at least when you're encountering them frontally on. So unless if their tank is reversing or showing its side, there's nothing that Panzer III can do, especially at the start where the tank's just looking right at you. So this is one of the strategies that I like to use if I can work together with the Panzer III here. So if you have the opportunity to coordinate, what I like to do is ask that Panzer III to go off in the very beginning to try to bait that first shell. The other thing I'm going to do with my Panzer IV is I'm going to make sure that I have a heat shell loaded, and I'm going to rotate my turret 90 degrees to the left. So if I continue that play out here, that Panzer III is going to go. I don't want him going off this soon, but then I rotate my tank 90 degrees, the turret 90 degrees rather. That way I don't have to reposition my tank once I try to take the shot. It's all about micro adjusting that turret. So right now what I'm hoping is that the KV is going to see the Panzer III and it's not going to be aware which tank is which, so it's going to waste its first shot. Luckily, all of the Russian tanks are a little slower at reloading, so that gives you, the German tanker, more time to make your shot. So now I'm going to expose myself here. Great. So we can see that already my turret is a little off, but if you had to rotate your tank, yeah, you're getting a little better armor, but they can penetrate your armor no matter what, so you might as well just show your side. But there's not that much I have to adjust, so I'm going to rotate my turret just a little bit there, put it right on that turret, so you can see I have the heat shell, and I'm going to set it, it's 100 meters right now, but it's 200 meters, we'll put it right on the dot. Boom, I'm going to hit that right away. So sometimes after the first heat shell, you'll kill who's ever in that turret, but after 2 heat shells for sure, you're going to kill the guy. So you're going to see I get a lucky bounce right here, and I'm really, really excited. Sometimes you can survive that hit. Sometimes you don't. But if you do, you also reload faster than the Russian tank, and that's going to allow you to reload that heat shell and put one more shot in there. So you can see my Panzer III buddy is continually trying to put in armor-piercing shots on that turret. That Panzer III is not going to do anything, but at the very least it might disrupt his shot or just cause him to get confused about which tank he should be shooting. So at this point, after 2 shells, you definitely killed the guy, so it's up to you whether or not you want to destroy the tank or not. If you're being polite, just destroy the tanks, and that way they can respawn a new one. But if you don't destroy the tank, there is a slight possibility they could get back in the tank 30 seconds to a minute later and kill everyone. So that was just some advice. I noticed a lot of people really have problems playing as a German tanker on this map. So in this scenario, I think this happened after we were playing for 5 minutes. You can see the debris of dead tanks in front of us, so we're not super good. But this is a super effective strategy at the beginning of the map, where if you go out there as soon as you can with both the tanks, you have a much higher probability of being able to bully that Russian tank into submission, getting off a couple of those heat shells from the Panzer IV, and when both the tanks do this, it makes it less likely that the Panzer IV is going to be the one that gets taken out. And it's not like the tanks are that useful at the beginning of the map anyway, and if you finish the map with tanks left over, those are tanks wasted. So I hope this video has helped you guys out. See you on the battlefield.